Next on our agenda is we're going to have Nguyen. Tuyen. Is she here from Google? Oh, all the way down. So Tuyen is from the Google. She worked for Google for the developer program, and she's going to give a talk about the program for the mobile developer.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. As Joseph mentioned, I am a mobile publisher advocate for Google, and today I'm just going to go over some of our offerings for developers. Is there... So how many of you guys were at I/O this week? Okay, so just a few people. How many of you watched the keynote or some of the programming from I/O this week? A few more. Okay, so it really should come as no surprise to you that a large focus of I/O and a large focus of I/O for the past few years have been about mobile. It's increasingly becoming a more important part of Google. And if you have watched the keynote or get a chance to watch the keynote and some of our product launches, you'll see that many of our products have actually been refocused, and even some have been redesigned to focus primarily on the app developer. And during I/O, there were just tons of stats being thrown around on mobile trends and the potential of mobile, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But what I do want to highlight is that globally, we're less than 50% penetrated on smartphone penetration. So even in the US, we're only about 44% smartphone penetration penetrated. And so what that means is there's still a lot of growth in the world. There are about 1 billion smartphones, but still 4 billion featured phones. So what does that mean? As consumers continue to upgrade to smartphones, they're changing their consumption behavior. You can see here that apps have already surpassed web, over 2 times being spent on smartphones. And if we kind of look at the progression of Apple, Google, the launches of the connected TVs, we'll start to see a lot of the web and app behavior on TV as well. So you can see that if you combine the blue and the yellow graphs, the bars, time spent on the phone is much more than on TV right now. But once we actually combine all these 3 behaviors onto one single device or one single platform, we'll start to see a real explosion in terms of interaction with apps on all devices. So how else has consumer behavior changed? Well, just taking a quick cut at China and the US, we know that each of us have about 20, 30. In Japan, I believe it's more like 40 apps on our phones. But we're really only interacting with about a third of them. So that means that users, although they're likely to download their apps, you have a huge problem with engagement and with loyalty. So as an app developer, those are really the 2 things that you should be focused on. And really, there's no clear winner, right? This is just a quick cut of the ad opportunity in the US. Tons of ad networks out there, tons of players out there, tons of apps all vying for that 10 to 20 spot on that phone. So how do you, as a developer, build a great app, promote it, monetize it, and really build a business from it? So here are some of the products that Google has kind of reshifted, rebuilt. I mentioned earlier that we've even rebuilt some products from the ground up just for app developers. Google Analytics is a part of that. I'm going to go over, for the rest of this presentation, some of the tools and products that we have to allow you to really focus on building great apps and focus on building that business. So who here is using Google Cloud Platform? Nobody. Oh, 1, 2. Perfect. Okay. So Google Cloud Platform is really meant to be a scalable and easily managed platform for you to build your app. What we want you to do is we want you to be able to not put a ton of effort into the management of your app servers. We want to give you the tools to kind of be able to build, launch, iterate, and to scale as your business scales. So Google Cloud Platform is a part of that. By using Google Cloud Platform, you can run your app in the cloud, use Compute Engine, get access to virtually an unlimited amount of virtual machines to run everything that you need. And of course, we scale as you scale as well. How many of you are game developers here? Or work with a lot of graphics and large media files? So a good amount. Okay. Well, cloud storage allows you to host large media files. So we know that, with the launch of the Pixel, Chrome Pixel, users are demanding high-resolution graphics. They're demanding better designed apps, and that can take up a lot of space and a lot of processing power to be able to deliver it to them. But if you're not going to be best in class in it, then you could lose that chance of really being able to engage and bring back the user to your app. So by using cloud storage, you're able to leverage Google's technology to host and serve graphics and large media files to your app. This is actually also the platform that we use to host a lot of our own applications as well, internal and external. Sync app state across multiple devices. If you watch the keynote and listen to Chris Yerga and watch the Google Cloud Messaging keynote, a big theme that I got from I/O is synchronizing apps and synchronizing the state of apps and the data from apps across all of your devices. So how many of you have more than 4 devices? Laptop, mobile phone, tablet, maybe even 2 tablets, and maybe even two mobile phones. So as you know, so most of those devices will run on sometimes a similar OS, and being able to serve and synchronize the state of your app or the state of your gameplay is really important to ensure that the user is getting a streamlined user experience across all of their devices and all of their apps. So here are just some of the examples of the products that enable you to do that as well. Of course, easily integrate across mobile devices. So by using cloud endpoints, you're able to quickly download and publish libraries on Android, iOS, and even JavaScript for web apps as well. And because we do want you to build apps as quickly as possible and to be able to publish them as quickly as possible and to be able to leverage some of the libraries and features that Google implements on our own product, we have a whole host of APIs to enhance your apps. And by using the Android software and hardware library, you do have access to be able to test across multiple devices and to be able to test across multiple OS as well. So that was kind of the build stage. As I mentioned, we have a host of tools meant to allow you to be able to build, publish as quickly as possible, not put a lot of time into troubleshooting, managing, and being able to scale your app. So what we'd love you to focus on at Google is to be able to grow your business by growing your user base and also monetizing and being able to put in the time to analyze the performance of your business. Who here is not familiar with these icons? I think everybody should be familiar. They're pretty big icons at Google, right? So just to give you an example for the Google Play Store, I believe there are over 25 billion or 250 billion, can't quote me on that, downloads in over 190 countries of apps downloaded to date. For Google+, I think the latest stat was 250 million active users for 30 days. And of course, by tapping into our ad network, not only AdMob, but also with AdWords and AdSense, you do have access to one of the largest user bases out there. We have about 350 million devices in our network for AdMob and over 300,000 apps. So that means no matter who your target audience is, no matter how you're looking to grow, if it's for free, if you want to pay for it, we do have services that will allow you to reach those users. I'm not going to go into all these products, but I do want to make a few quick highlights on 2 big tips on gaining users. Google Play. Who here is an Android developer? and publishes in the Google Play Store? Okay, so just a few of you guys. If you had a chance to be at I/O or once the recordings actually come out, I highly recommend watching the events or the workshops that the Google Play team actually published, because they did a whole host of rating apps and how to get featured, and they actually gave a lot of insight that's not publicly available on the site or anything like that. So very valuable. What I did is I just kind of teased out some of the quick and easy ways to get featured on the Google Play Store. So I think as an app developer, we know that if you are on that top spot in iTunes or if you're being featured, it's a great way to kind of grow usership and speed up the momentum for driving more users to your business. So most important thing right now for the Google Play team is a tablet optimized app. As you know, we launched the Nexus 7, the Nexus 10, and we want apps that are optimized for tablets. That doesn't mean that your graphics just kind of get bigger. That means you utilize the extra screen space for additional features or to add additional value to your users. And maybe it's a completely different experience that you offer on the tablet, because tablets are used at home more often, and mobile phones are actually used on the road more often. So tablets really aren't that mobile if we think about it. Follow the Android design guidelines. On android.com/design, there is a step-by-step tutorial of kind of Android's design philosophy, different features, and different plugins that we recommend that you use to be able to streamline your app. The whole point of kind of that design doc is for you to leverage some of the things that are existing out there and that have been built. For example, sometimes I see apps where they'll have their own navigation buttons, or their icons actually don't look like what a user might expect on the Android platform. And what that does is it creates a learning curve, an additional learning curve or latency in learning that creates friction from the user being able to use your app right away. So by implementing some of these designs and being able to kind of draw your users in, let them use your app right away, it'll be easier for you to increase that engagement and hopefully increase the loyalty to your app. Let's see. I'm not going to go through all of these, but ratings are very important when we look at featured apps. We don't just look at installs, we look at uninstalls as well, and the lifetime of those installs. So if you are running quick campaign bursts where you're just getting people to download it, they're not opening it, that's actually not going to affect your ratings with Google Play at all. So things to think about in terms of getting the user in the door, but getting them to actually open that app and coming back again and again. In terms of acquiring users, if you were going to go the paid route, AdMob last year launched a new ad format called CPC interstitials. This has actually been working really well for many of our developers, but essentially what it is a quick and easy way of promoting your app. We'll pull in the star ratings from your app, and with one click, the user will be able to download your app right away. So let's talk about monetization. Once you have these users in your network, what are you going to do with them? There's a ton of ways to monetize. Obviously, Google monetizes across desktop and mobile. How many of you have over 1 million downloads for your app? Not quite yet. Oh, we have one person. Congratulations. So as your user base grows and as your engagement grows, we are there with you kind of every step of the way. There are many ways to monetize and many different services and platforms to kind of help you monetize. You can start off at the very baseline, ads, in-app purchases, paid ads, but along the way, Google has something for everybody. So as your business gets more sophisticated, along with our cloud platform businesses, our ad business is designed to make you scale as well, or to allow you to scale as well. So you can start off as simple with just integrating ads. Maybe when you start getting a larger user base, you might want to direct sell your ads and to be able to perform some of your own ad serving. So that's where you kind of move down this line and get a little bit more integrated with Google products. So again, I'm just going to focus on two of our products here. Google in-app payments powered by Wallet. How many of you guys are actually using that? A few people. So from what I hear, it's very easy to integrate and very simple in terms of payments. The great thing about all of our payment and advertising products is that they're all run by one single backend. So as a developer, as an advertiser, as a publisher, you get one paycheck and you go through one funnel. So we're really taking a lot of steps at Google to integrate all these products to make sure that you're not having to work with 5, 10 different UIs, which I think is a great thing. So in terms of in-app payments for wallets, it's a 30% fee for Google Pay and 5% for Google Wallet. So pretty standard rates, I'd say. In terms of monetization for AdMobs, at I/O, AdMob actually launched a new UI. So what we did is Google bought AdMob about 2 to 3 years ago, and we just kind of took it as it was. We haven't really been doing much with it. We've been doing a lot of back-end integration. Last year, we connected AdWords, which is the largest advertising network, and fed that into the AdMob funnel. So as a publisher and as an advertiser now, you have access to the largest advertising base and also one of the largest mobile app publishing bases as well. At I/O, we launched a smarter app promotion tool and better reporting, better filtering. Like I mentioned earlier, we integrated our payment system. We've ported over a lot of the features that you may be familiar with on AdWords or on AdSense if you are a publisher or an advertiser over there. But what we wanted to do is create a space where app developers could just focus on apps. Because I know that many people, especially if you're in app development, maybe you don't do web development, or you're very focused on one thing, and Google has a lot of bells and whistles. So what we want to do with AdMob is turn it into a network where you can get everything that you need, but not have to deal with ad serving, advanced filterings, and things like that. So if you guys are an AdMob publisher, this will be rolling out to you starting June 6th on a 20% basis. If not, I encourage you to sign up just to kind of take a look at the reporting tools that we've integrated into AdMob. Keeping along the same lines of making sure that we are optimizing your revenue or optimizing your ability to monetize your users, we recently launched something that's called eCPM floors. So what this allows you to do is actually set a minimum of what you think your ad impression is worth. If we're not able to fill it, we will move it on to your second or third ad network of choice. But this essentially allows you to decide the fair price for your ad impression. This recently launched, and we're having actually really great feedback on it. So if you are using AdMob and you are using our mediation tool, do check out this feature. It is available for all of our publishers as of just last week. So the last part of building your business is really being able to analyze and to be able to understand what your users are doing. I can't tell you how many times I actually talk to developers and they say, oh yeah, I have this app and I think I have a lot of users and I'm not sure what they're doing on it. So whatever you do, make sure you have some sort of analytics service. Hopefully you're taking a look at your logs. But if you have over 1 million users and you're taking a manual look at your logs, that's going to be very difficult to do. So BigQuery is an internal Google tool that we have made public that allows you to crunch terabytes of data in real time, or you can consider MapReduce, which also was an internal Google tool, which is now available publicly, to also do data analysis on non-real-time data as well. All these tools allow you to build custom APIs and dashboards so that you get the right information that's important to you when you want it. As a developer, regardless of what platform or even as a business owner, here are some of the things that you should have insight to. You should actually have insight into every single one of these things. It's worth mentioning. It may be basic, but it is worth mentioning because not a lot of people currently track these things. So in my mind, you can't make a good business decision if you're not sure what your users are doing, where they're coming from, or what's really working for your business. I encourage you guys all to take a look at these metrics and see how it affects the way that you make decisions to your business today. And just to close it off, we're here to help you. I have a couple Googlers here. Yiwei is here from our China team. Mingzhuang is here also from our Beijing office, and I'll be here as well. If you guys have any questions or about any of these products, please come up and ask us, and that's it for me. I don't know if I have time for questions. No? Sure.
Yeah, I'm talking about if I go ahead and develop a mobile app for Android and look into instead of games, instead doing some merchant listing and other stuff. I look around and notice that Google actually is doing that. Mobile payment is already doing that. So if I came up with some ideas, how do I know that Google is still doing that in secret? You're kind of a mobile development partnership management person.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be the person who can tip us off and say, hey, don't do that? And try
No.
something else?
I think so. I think if you listen to Larry Page's keynote at Google I/O, is he said, we don't. Our point is to not beat out competition or even look at the ecosystem as a competitive ecosystem. What we want to do is to encourage people to build great things, and having, products developed in parallel actually does that, right? Because as soon as you move the needle, somebody else may take that idea and then develop it further. We don't see our products as really cannibalizing, ideas that you may have. But as just an app developer in general and as a business owner, you always want to know what your value proposition is and where your niche is, right? Because there are tons of shopping sites, there are tons of clothing stores, but that doesn't mean that just because Macy's is so big that nobody else should get into the game. As a partner of Google, I wouldn't be able to tell you our roadmap, but I would be able to, tell you, well, I know these people are doing other things. I have an ear into the ecosystem. I meet a lot of developers, and that's why I go to these events, is I meet a lot of developers. I learn what people are doing. I can improve my ideas. I can help you improve your ideas, and kind of, figure out a way of thinking of a different solution or a better solution to the same issue.
Right, thanks.